So I just finished my review of the Olight Arc Flex, and suffice it to say, most people are missing some key points about this flashlight. All right, so the Olight Arc Flex. I'm gonna read the specs off of it because I'm just try to be a little bit accurate as possible. A lot of times I don't script these, but just to be fair as I go through and help you decide whether or not you should buy this flashlight, which bottom line up front or bluff, I wouldn't spend my money on this flashlight yet. Olight sent this out to me. I'll tell you why. So this thing has a turbo mode of 1000 lumens, high mode of 400 lumens, a working mode of about 100 lumens, which is okay. Low lumens 15, and it has a God tier moonbeam mode of 1.5. So not really God tier. I say 1 is God tier. It's pretty good stuff. It is about 4.25 inches by 1.18 inches and about a little bit less than half an inch in depth. And it has a 1050 milliamp hour battery. So Olight wants this flashlight to be a work light, a reading light, and an EDC light. I think that they lean too heavy trying to do all of these at once. So to compare and tell you why I wouldn't buy this for all of those, I'm going to show you where it's trying to line itself up with in this category. First off, it's a flat flashlight. Flat flashlights have become incredibly popular over the last couple of years. All these here are something that you might consider when you go out and decide to spend your hard-earned money on a flashlight. And each of these respectively kind of all do their own thing. This first one here is the Phoenix Whiskey Tango 25R. This is a true work light. This uses a 18650 battery, if I'm not mistaken. This has a 106 degree or 110 degree radius, so it goes past 90 degrees. And this is just a superior light altogether. It does use a proprietary charger, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but you can also just take the battery out, swap the batteries, or get a USB-C 18650 rechargeable battery and go from there. Next is the Olight Arc Fel. This is the green laser light version, which Olight sent to me probably sometime last year. Decent EDC flashlight. I just wanted to show you how it looks after it starts to get beat up a little bit, so you can kind of know what your Arc Flex will look like. Then we have the Arc Flex itself. It coming in with this superior hinge, which I may or may not like. We'll talk about that here in a second, which goes 45 degrees. It has a pocket clip, which is the wrong pocket clip in my opinion, and we'll talk about that here. Side click mechanism, which is a different color, which makes it easier to see. And it does have a little bit of like bumps on it, so you can feel it when you pull it out your pocket absentmindedly. You know that you're on that bump, which is some good stuff. Next to it, we have the discontinue, but still available in some places. If I find any of these, I'll link them up down below. This is the Phoenix Whiskey Tango 20R. This is the predecessor to the flashlight that we talked about earlier. This one doesn't have, it still has that full past 90 degree radius, but it uses a weirder size battery, micro USB. You know, it's just not that superior of a light, but it's still a pretty decent light if you own it. And then finally, we bring it all up with the Rovivon Angel Eyes E200U. This is a straight up a flat flashlight with a trash pocket clip, but it's still pretty, I still like it overall. The Olight Arc Flex is trying to fit itself in this area of being an EDC light, a reading light, which I don't know how you can use this as a reading light. I guess, you know, if you're reading like this, but if it's at a 90 degree angle, I don't know how this can illuminate your reading surface as a reading light. I guess if it bent over more, maybe it could, but whatever. That's just that's their literature on their website. So to test this out, I took the Arc Flex and I used it. I used the hinge 1,000 times over the course of one day. I bent the hinge. So at this point, I've probably bent this hinge 1,400 times. It's holding up well. On their website, it says it can go 10,000 times. Here's the thing. I'm not a big fan when it comes to the flashlight is that it doesn't have like a little spotlight. I don't know a lot about flashlights, but I know a lot about what I like in my work lights. So when you use this flashlight, and I'll show you on some B-roll, it doesn't have like a spotlight in the middle. Like the Whiskey Tango 20R has a like directed spotlight in the middle. Even the older Whiskey Tango 20R has a directed spotlight. The pocket clip, the biggest thing for me is the pocket clip. These work lights, they own the fact that they're a work light, okay? So the pocket clip on these work lights are designed for you to literally take them, you strap it to the front of a pocket, and then you can point it forward. It's not, these don't promote for you to put them in your pocket, because when you put these in your pocket, you're carrying them beam up. They don't even fake the funk. This Olight has that same pocket clip, right? So it has the same pocket clip, the deep carry part where they want you to clip it onto your shirt and point it forward, but they're also wanting you to carry this in your pocket. Normally, the deep part of the pocket clip would be how you carry a flashlight in the pocket. If you carry that like this in the pocket, the beam is going to be up. So it's in your pocket like this, right? You go to pull it out. And then when you go to use it, you still have to turn it one more time just to begin to use it. So what they've decided to do is to actually have you use a smaller part of the pocket clip, which is normally designed for when you're wearing a hat. That's how these pocket clips are normally designed. You're supposed to put this on a hat. So they want you to try to take that small part of the pocket clip, get it on here, and wear it in your pocket like that. It's kind of a hit and miss thing when you do it that way. And even when you're wearing it in this pocket like that, you pull it out of your pocket, you still have to turn it around to turn on the flashlight. So I'm coming to you with the perspective of this thing currently costing $80. That's a lot of things that are kind of things that I would like to have in an $80 flashlight. Another thing when it comes to the actual using this as a work light, and here's the reason why for me personally, this couldn't be a work light. This hinge is so strong, it doesn't allow for one hand usage of the hinge if you're in a work situation. So, all right, so imagine you have all these at your angle, you're working on something, you got your hand on a workpiece, whatever the case may be, and you need to quickly adjust your light. We got to think about this for when you're trying to make those adjustments of your light and you're really like using this as a work light. It's not the most efficient thing in the world. So for me, if I have my hand on a workpiece, I don't know, imagine I have a slotted screwdriver. I want to do an adjustment and keep the screwdriver on the workpiece and not move it and just use one hand. It's super hard to use this one-handed quickly and keep your hand on a workpiece. And it's a lot easier to do with two hands. It's very frustrating. These lights are designed to be true, like work lights. They're not designed like that. So for instance, you literally can just reach over, move it real quick, and keep working on whatever you're working on very, very easily. These hinges are designed to be used one-handed and very easily, almost with just one finger. Most work lights that I know, that I own, that I work with, have removable batteries. That's a thing. Like that's a thing that you want to be able to do. If you buy this Phoenix Whiskey Tango 25R, you have the ability to take the battery out and in a pinch, throw another 18650 battery inside. That's important. That's for somebody that's working to have the ability to just quickly swap batteries out because they don't always have time to throw something on a charger. Only having a 1050 milliamp hour battery is not great in a work scenario. It's great for maybe an EDC scenario, but when you try to put yourself in the lane of a work light and you're coming up with stuff like these type of batteries, a 18650, which has a 3400 milliamp hour battery. This is more than 3 times the size of the Olight battery, and they're about the same price. For me, $80 is a hard ask for this flashlight. I think if the hinge, and this is gonna sound weird, if the hinge wasn't so strong, I would say it's a good to go. Or if the magnet was stronger, one or the other, because when you're trying to use this in a work scenario, this hinge needs to bend with 1 or 2 fingers more easily. It needs to be able to bend quickly and just be able to go very easily. For an EDC light, it doesn't work for me either because they put this pocket clip on in a work scenario. They want you to wear it on a clip and face forward. It doesn't carry in the pocket that great. I want to pull it out my pocket and use it immediately, kind of like the Streamlight Wedge, which you have to do a couple of more movements for. I don't need all this goofy logos on here that says which way it bends. For instance, this is Phoenix third iteration of a work light. I have their first two. I don't even, or the second and the third. I don't have the very first one. But none of these have labeling on them to let you know you need to bend it this way. This is how you're supposed to wear both of these lights. This is a Streamlight Wedge. This is the Arc Fel. So when you pull the Streamlight Wedge out of your pocket and you go to use it, immediately you can turn it on because the light is on the correct side. If you wear this how Olight intends for you to wear it when you pull it out your pocket, you have to flip it over one more time, or you have to get used to turning it on with your bottom finger, which ergonomics is just, it's not really comfortable for that, at least for most people. Most folks I've seen on review videos and most on their literature have them using the actual switch with their thumb, not their finger. But you probably can train yourself to get used to it. I think it's for me because it's $80. It's hard for me to recommend this as it stands right now, but let's just think about what Olight tends to do. I have the Olight Arc Fel, the green light version. Literally a couple months later, they came out with the Olight Arc Fel UV, which I think is a great buy. Then 6 months, a year later, they came out with the Olight Arc Fel Pro, which has the UV, the green light, and the regular flashlight in there as well. Can we not see where Olight is going with the Arc Flex? If it was me, if it was my money, I would wait until the Olight Arc Flex UV comes out. It's coming. It has to be coming. It seems like it's already set up for you to be able to use this with an UV functionality. They can put a button here. They can put a button on the other side. They can add another button. I don't know. If this becomes an Olight Arc Flex UV, still $80. So now you have the UV light, then that might be great. So what's the bottom line? Do I recommend the Olight Arc Flex as it stands in its current makeup? I would have to say that for $80, it's a hard pass. If you need a dedicated work light, get a dedicated work light. For an EDC light, this just doesn't have the functionality that I want in my light. I want a little bit easier of usage if this is going to be an everyday carry type of light that's in my pocket. Now, if I'm pulling this out of a sling, out of a pouch, out of a backpack, it's probably going to be fine. Go for it. But I would either A, wait for this to go on sale. Check the links in the description. It might be on sale now. It's just no telling. Or B, wait for version 2. I just feel in my bones. I don't have any early information, but something in my bones is just telling me that V2 of this flashlight will be coming sooner than later, and it's probably going to incorporate UV. It's going to incorporate something that's going to make it worth it. And it's probably going to be the same price. And then I think there would be something that might be good to go. But what do you think? Are you going to pick up the Olight Arc Flex? Olight, your names, they trip me out. Is this a hard pass? You're going to wait for it. You know, if this thing was $60, maybe, but 1,000 lumen flashlight that's trying to be a work light, I don't know if this is for me, but I would love to know if it's for you. Let me know. If this is the first time stopping by, hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.